Hey guys, my name is Johan and welcome to the Blueprint Podcast. And if this is your first time watching or listening to this podcast, if you could like, subscribe, and share this content with some family friends, I truly, truly appreciate it because as I grow, you guys will grow with me too. So welcome to the show. And if it's your first time actually listening to this podcast, it's all around mindset, confidence, being an entrepreneur, but more importantly, being a better human. And, if you don't know me well, I actually have a coaching business where I help businesses make more money through sales. I do a lot of business consulting and sales workshops as well. And this is the second episode for the year. So, what I recommend, guys, if you're someone who wants to start their own business, watch my last episode, which was recorded in early January, where I actually share with you how I moved on from a full-time job with a side hustle, which was my coaching business, to now being a full-time business owner within the coaching space. And through that, guys, we've had a recent positive development. As per titled, I actually said, why I decided to self-publish my first book. So in today's episode, we're actually going to share with you why I chose to self-publish my own book versus going down the traditional route of using a publisher. So I actually wrote a children's book, mid last year, and we're in the process of printing the first 500 books that will be printed in the next week or two. And the reaction has been sensational. The support has been massive. And this little venture is actually going to help children in Africa as well, which is the purpose of writing the book. And you can check out the book on the below link. It's called Little Voices, Big Dreams, 52 Affirmations for Children. But when I actually started designing the book, I had to make a really, honest choice with myself where I had to decide quickly if I was going to self-publish my first book or go down the route of using a professional publisher. And because this was my first book, I actually got quite nervous, quite anxious, and I had a big vision and a big dream. So I started reaching out to a lot of publishers because, if you go and speak to publishers, they can help you out with marketing, getting your ISBN number, putting it on, your Amazons, maybe hooking you up with a bookstore or two if it's a really cool book. They can help you out with like editing, copywriting, marketing, and so on and so on. And I actually reached out to a couple of publishers and I got no replies. And the replies that I got from some publishers was very cynical, very basic. And if you don't know me well, I'm a type of guy that if you can't solve a problem for me, I will solve it for myself. I'm a very resilient person, very resourceful. And if I'm passionate about something, I'll just get it done. I'll find a way. So after having no real positive responses, I thought, let me reach out to some mentors and maybe watch some, publisher content online and see what people have done. And I have a mentor in my life called Pastor Erwin McManus, who's written many books. And he was sharing on his actual podcast where he was originally getting his books professionally published. And he actually outlined some of the cons. And you can watch his podcast to, see what he spoke about. But the three things that I actually got, really attracted to that podcast was he actually spoke about these components. Number one is usually when you're publishing a book through a publisher, you don't own the rights. So I decided to self-publish a book for that main reason. I wanted to own the patent of it, the copyright of it, and more importantly, I wanted my brand, which is Blueprint Publishing, to be an asset that I could sell in the future. So if you go and sign up with the publisher, they may say, hey, you're going to have to write 3, 4, 5, 6 books until we'll release you so you can do your own publishing. So you can eat up into a lot of your margins. And more importantly, the second point that really frustrated me about hearing about publishers is they have a lot of control over you. So I decided again, I don't like control. I'm pretty open, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to go down the route of self-publishing as well because of that. And the third part was, I'm a very hungry guy and very driven. And I started to develop a bit of a passion about how could I help other future self-publishers in the future publish their own books without feeling, stronghold by a publishing company, by having no control, all the rights and all that kind of stuff. So the third component was I actually started my own self-publishing company where I'm going to help future artists develop their own books. And I'm going to create different synergies and, more importantly, different things in there where you can use my publishing company for the printing, you can use it for copywriting, editing, and mentoring and marketing, but I don't want to own your rights. I want the person who's writing the book to be rewarded for their hard work, and I will help them through. And the other reason why I decided to do some self-publishing is because this first book is all about, kids, affirmations, positiveness. It's, really beautifully written, and, a lot of cool pictures are designed and whatnot. I could actually create other products that will align with this actual book. So, I'm planning to do a little short YouTube series on it. I'm planning to do, like little puzzles, printed puzzles, posters, and all that kind of cool stuff. But the reality is, if I didn't self-publish it, I wouldn't have that thought or pattern to self-publish my own book. So again, they're the really reasons why I decided to self-publish my own book. Now, there are a few things you should be aware of if you want to go down that route. When you self-publish, you got to have a lot of time. Now, I work for myself, so I schedule a lot of things. I don't report to anyone, and I'm quite efficient with my time. But if you're someone that's very time poor, maybe you could write your book, maybe you could write your movie, whatever the case may be. But then that's when I recommend that you reach out to a company to help you. Because if you haven't got that time, it's going to take forever to release it. Number two, I didn't realize how much copywriting and editing took. And I love copywriting, I love editing, I'm in sales, and I love using words, to attract offers and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was a natural ability. And because this book, it might be going out to a few other countries, and that's the plan, I know in my mind there are some words that I use in Australia and the UK that's not going to really maybe work in other countries, maybe like China, Malta, or Italy, as an example. So I know those things take place as well. And the other thing that you need to have is you need to have a big network when you want to publish your own book. I'm blessed to be in business for a long time. I have a big network. And to be honest with you, when I went down the self-publishing route, I signed up 2 book retailers very quickly through contacts that I have who made introductions for me. So I can now offer that service to other people. But to be honest with you, publishing companies do all that themselves, and they pick and choose who they want to speak with. So I love control when it comes to my creative side. When it comes to my business side, I like to outsource and delegate as much as I can. So there are those little things that you want to actually keep in mind too. And I'll tell you what, writing a book is expressive, it's exciting. And, when I was a child, even to my early 20s, I struggled with communication, spelling, grammar. I was a bit dyslexic. I couldn't read words properly. And I was always good at numbers. And I've shared this many times on other episodes on this podcast. And I was very fortunate enough to do an MBA about 5 years ago because I wanted to increase my skill set within sales and marketing and supply chain. And that actually helped me defeat my dyslexia, helped me, increase my vocabulary and all that kind of stuff as well. So I've done the work. So if you're someone that wants to write a book, reach out to your connections, see if they can help you and all that kind of stuff. But again, just to recap, the main reason why I wanted to self-publish for myself is, again, I wanted to own the rights. It's a very important thing. You see a lot of artists out there in the music and the movies business and the book business where, all their margins get eaten by royalties and all that kind of stuff through their publishers. And a lot of my books, it's going to be set up to donate a lot of money. So I want to make sure that all that money that we produce through this business can be donated 100% effectively. So I don't want to be, paying cost for things I don't actually need. Number 2, again, is, I love the control factor, which I mentioned about many times. I love being in charge of my own journey. And like I said, I'm hungry and determined. And the third thing, like I shared, is I'm planning to spin off a lot of parts of this book to other ventures. So owning the rights from day one is very important. But I would love to hear from you if you've got any plans to write a book or two in the future. So this is my first book. So there will be another children's book being produced at the end of the year. And I've also got a really cool sales book in the pipeline for early next year as well. So God bless, guys. Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast. I hope you got some value today and speak to you soon, my friends, and take care. Good night.